Hey everyone, today I get to speak to Sister Heidi Thom, who has been part of the Align Provider Network since 2022. She also supports our patient remotely, sorry, and as part of our virtual only team. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. Also, what makes it extra special is that it was recently International Nurses Day as well. So thank you for taking your time to chat to me. One of the questions that I do have, and also mentioning that you support our patients in the virtual only model, from your experience, remote support, how does that improve patient care and outcome?
This has been a really important model because it allows us to actually look after the patients that are in areas where there are no nursing staff on the ground. So I think by doing this, we can really reach out to everybody, not only giving scripts and that, but actually to physically support the patient, be in their home. We allow the patient to actually have a contact number that they can contact when there's a problem. And especially if you build a good relationship, you have a very similar relationship with a patient who's far away than what you would have sitting in their home. So I think it's absolutely great that we're able to do this and that people embrace it and get used to it and enjoy the space as well.
Mhm. Great. Yeah, and that's quite a few positive things that you've mentioned in the remote space. But with that, I'm sure there's certain challenges that you face in the remote support. Is there any that you can think of from your experience?
I think the most important thing is that the patients themselves also have to get used to it. So often my first question would be, so how do you want to be supporting us if you're not going to come and visit us physically? And I think people have to wrap their head around the fact that we can physically support because you can still do exactly the same examinations, ask the patient to get up, to walk, ask the family member to do the saturation and the blood pressure and report on that. So even if I'm not doing that in the space, somebody else can do it. So it's really about gaining trust as well, and the family seeing the value of having a nurse who's actually far away and yet in the home supporting the family. I think that's been my biggest challenge, just to gain this trust within the family situation until such time that they realize it really does have value for them.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that as well. And when you started out in this remote space, um, how did you eventually build confidence in this space to continue? Because with the challenges you faced, you might have felt differently, or if it is working over the time and your experience again, how have you built confidence in this space to continue?
To me, it's been really important to have a very strict interview pattern so that I allow to ask the questions that I need to and follow this protocol almost, but still stay natural while doing that so that I know I'm checking the vital signs, I'm checking the mobility, nutrition, everything that I would do if I was in the home situation. And also ask the other psychosocial things and financial things, really go through every step, but not to talk over the patient, but to allow them to verbalize. Often you have a 10-minute interview and you feel it's all over. And just as you're almost saying goodbye, that's when these questions start popping up. And I always, to me, it's the same as that walk back to the car if I'm doing a physical visit. Often people relax when they feel it's over. And that's when those things start being spoken about. So again, to follow strict order and yet allow for space for that family to at some point relax enough to verbalize their concerns that are really sort of deeply worrying them at night, keeping them awake. So yeah, to allow for that same thing to happen remotely that you would in a physical visit.
Great. Thank you. And I'll end off with one last question, then. This is more for providers who's maybe unsure or maybe intimidated by the remote space, what advice would you give them if they have that fear of entering into the remote access space? Is there any thoughts that you could share with them?
Well, I think the important thing is we as nurses, we taught to care, and that's also why we're in the profession as well. So I feel that if you can offer that space and are comfortable with palliative care support in a home environment, it's not that much different being in a remote space. Obviously, by not physically being there, it makes it a bit more tricky. But with time, you do build that relationship. So it's also patience and confidence that you can do this. You've done it physically. You can certainly offer it remotely. And what you're offering is much more than what the patient would have if they had nothing. So even if it's not 100%, it's hopefully 90%. And we can still walk alongside that family and be there for them throughout their journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And again, thank you for your time. It's always a pleasure seeing you. I mean, it's been a while. The last time we spoke, it was, I think you just joined our virtual model at the time. So it's so great to see you again. Yeah, thank you for making the time.
Thank you. And thanks for the opportunity and also for allowing me to work in the virtual space. I really do find it very satisfying as well. It's lovely.
Great. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks, Grady. Bye.